But yeah, so my sister gave me these flowers that apparently help with like yeast. So I've just been drinking that. Love has inspired me to uh, take a lot of like raw organic coconut oil. I'm taking a it's it's survives stomach acid every hour. I'm taking one of these every hour. But if I forget, I'll just take like what I missed at once because love you know let me know intuitively and confirm that's what I need to do. So I'm just kind of trusting my heart more instead of what I'm seeing, and it's really helped with just everything because I feel like I'm getting back to myself, and I want to give myself credit for like who I am, and like who I am, my frequency of love that I've always had with me, before I was born and when I was a kid. I'm really inspired to help homeless people, not just because I'm experiencing that myself, but it's something that I always had inside it as like my spiritual mission, if you want to call it that. And what I think is like a mission, that sounds like really, I don't know, there's like a weird pressure that I feel when I hear the word mission. So I think it's more of just like my expression of love for people that don't have homes. And they're not homeless people, they're just people that you know they're being screwed over. So because what happens typically is that like me, you get sick and you can be working 100 hours a week. I was literally working that much as a CNA for 2 years, and then they had to cut me down to 40. I was just doing that because I wanted to have no debt, and that was when I had saved maybe like 10 grand. It could have definitely been more. Now I'm a lot more like minimalistic, and I really like that lifestyle because just like having too much stuff, I mean, I definitely want to have like a lot of supplements and like things to nourish my body. I like having that stuff, but that's just my wealth, like my sacral chakra and my purpose and my healing and nourishing myself inside and out, on multi-dimensional ways. And yeah, so I think that it's nice that we're getting to a place where we're just talking instead of like maybe like trying to shift responsibility on each other, or and that's only because we're like, this is like new to us, and like we're just sensitive, so it's not a bad thing. It's just kind of what we can both see, and the I guess there's just going to be a lot of driving forces around us that push us in the right direction, whether that's the easy way or the hard way, which to me that's kind of opposite, like just from my brain personally, because going through all of the hard stuff is what I feel like really softened me. And I'm not saying like I want to put myself in situations like on purpose, but I just, what I've learned about myself is that this is the way that I chose to go. And it's taught me that when the whole world is against you and you feel the pressures of that, it creates a diamond out of you. But I had to meditate to tap into love again, just because I was trying to transmutate so many different energies simultaneously, including, and I really didn't have enough energy to, like, I guess, spend on myself. And so that's how I've been feeling. And that's why this card always pops up, because I nourish other people more than myself, and that's not balanced. And so I'm learning that I need to balance that out. And so I'm like, hey, be a little selfish if you need to, just to heal yourself so that you can heal other people again, because I love healing people. And it's almost like, I'm addicted to putting people above myself. And maybe that is because of the way I was raised, but I think that's just part of like my unique frequency of love as well, is that I see myself as other people, and so it's hard for me to watch someone struggling. And I think that you're like this too, and that's why you've probably felt a lot of pressure from me, because I'm voicing my struggles, and so you're feeling responsible for that. And I'm doing good. I've got a lot of help from like my family now, and it's really taught me a lot about love, like just seeing the way that each person expresses their love individually is so beautiful to me, because it's so unique. And I'm just kind of loving the journey of getting my health back, and I know that it will make me even stronger. So like that's really cool to me, like I feel like it is kind of when you are exercising and you tear a muscle down to rebuild it. So that's how I feel. And like you just really like heal me in general. And yeah, so thank you for healing me, and thank you for all of the things that you do to, even though it's scary, to reach out to me. And so like I wanted to get back to like what love was trying to inspire me to express, is that we're both so like, we don't want to pick a gender, if I can say that, because I feel like you feel the same way. We don't like the restrictions of the labels, but who does, like if you get down to it, like at its core, I don't think anyone really likes that. But I'm just trying to be as authentic as I can. It is hard because I'm not used to like exposing my full self, and like I guess like crying and like showing my pain, which I used to consider weakness, but now I'm realizing like the more pain that I've gone through, the more compassion and love I just naturally developed for other people, because I realized that it's not that this person's like evil, like I used to think that, but it's because they are just exhausted, and they are not getting any of the support that they need. And some people, like, they don't even have the part in their brain that has empathy. Like, that's missing. If we did an autopsy on some people, that would be missing. And so that makes more sense to me now, like why I've met a lot of people like that, and it's just to increase my love so that I can give myself and give other people the love that they are looking for, which is unconditional and in my own like way. But I wanted to go back on like this drawing I did when I was in, I want to say 5th grade. That feels right. And it was this homeless guy with a cup sitting underneath the American flag, and I won an award for it. And it kind of is a reflection of who I am today, because essentially the message, it's quite a large message for a child, I think. Like that in itself is really deep, and just like really I'm a really old soul, and And I think my focus, with being here is to help people that don't have homes, because I see them as myself, no matter who you are. If if you're rich or poor or, whatever, because, at the core, we're all connected. We are love, and so, like, I think personally, I know that there's different anatomy. Like, I've researched psychopaths and narcissists, and like their brain is missing the component that helps you understand empathy. So I have more compassion for people that have, brains like that now. And I know people have like different anatomy, but I really feel at the core, like, it is a more natural thing to connect with people. But I think in some ways it's like that's been looked at as weak, because there's a competition with, and I am going to say masculine energy, because like that word in itself, like I want to just like destroy that word and just blow it into a million pieces, because like it's not real. It's you can't be masculine. That's not a real thing. It's something that we have decided, oh, like if you're this body, you need to be like this. And but what if your soul doesn't resonate with that? And that's so much pressure to put on someone, to say you need to like be in this category and in this label and be doing these things. And so I think that you have felt pressure from me, just naturally, like trying to understand like who you are, and what we are, and like what you, I don't know, I don't want to say the wrong things. I know you think about that a lot. I just want you to know that I do too. It's taken me like half of my lifetime practicing being verbal, to get to where I'm at. And I do think most of it is intuition. But trying to just like form words as, you know, it's a lot, because there's so many different languages, and all of us have our own language. So, I don't know. I think, nonsense is, it's always the way to get through to me. Because the real us is our inner child. It's the child that, wants to see the world as a blank canvas of exploration and discovery, and playtime has scientifically been proven, not in just children but in adults too, to create better students and workers. And that just makes sense, because it's just like your computer. If you're working it too much, you call the IT and they're like, turn it off and on, because that works. You have to give it a break. So like, I'm understanding meditation more and more, because I chose to go the hard way and not meditate as much as I needed to, or whatever. And now I'm learning that, like, like love isn't trying to boss me around. But I do feel like that sometimes, because I think I'm sensitive to, being bossed around. Because most of my life I've just done what everyone wanted me to do, and it led me to attempting suicide. And so that's a reality for people. One of my friend's brothers recently took his life, and so he and I talked about that, because like we both recognized that could have been us, and we understood why that happened. And it's because when you lose your joy, which is like your purpose for being here, I mean, you're already dead. And some souls are already dead, but they're just, like in their living bodies. And it's not fair of us to like expect them to be someone that they're not. And that's what kills the soul, you know? So, because it kills the joy and it kills the passion, and that's love, you know? So I'm really, really into like inner child work, which is why I do the movement and sound therapy sessions, because they bring more of that out. In fact, the guy I was just talking about, my friend, whose brother took his life, he got a session recently, and he just said, you know, you really did help me see that I wasn't being my fullest self. And what I mean by that is not in a judgmental way, like we're not judging him because he's not being himself, because like sometimes when I hear that, I almost feel like, oh, I'm being judged because I'm not doing something right. I'm not, you know, or like I need to like improve, and it feels kind of like anxiety because I gotta hurry and do it or something, you know. And I think that's just my past, but I think, you know, maybe you can relate to that too. So but it's in a way of just like lovingly, like, hey, you know, maybe you don't like to eat junk food, you know, or like, because that was true for me. I just kind of, but anyway, so there was another herb I wanted to show anyone that's gonna be watching this. So I really love Dr. Christopher. Some say that he was destroyed by the wealthy, because his stuff like was very healing, and you know, companies don't make as much money if you get healed, so just saying. But it's mind track, and he would use spirit to create his formulas, I was told, by my mom, who's an herbalist. Love her work. If you look her up, her shop's called Spirit, Mind, and Body, and she's a great herbalist. So, you know, look out, okay? Just watch yourself. But I'm taking 2 of these a day. This does help with depression, which naturally came from having systemic candida. So that is a side effect I found, that you will have suicidal thoughts. And I just want to break that down on like a biological level, because I took a biology class, and this is how I connect for people that don't understand suicide. I like to combine like science and spiritual stuff, because that's just like heaven on earth for me. So in my biology class, they talked about cell suicide, and it's when a cell is created in the body and it doesn't have the proper things to function, it destroys itself for the whole of the body. So when people are taking their own lives, it's the same concept. In my heart, you know, like helped me realize that it's because they want to do a service for the whole. Okay, and so they register that it's because there is a dysfunction with them for the whole system, and so they need to go and like maybe, you know, redo whatever. But you know, I just have a lot of compassion for people that go, and we don't always know that that was the wrong thing to do. I think that we on the outside feel that way because like we want them to stay and we love them. But even Teal Swan, she says like, she says something like, you know, you can come to our facilities, and like if we can't heal you, then, you know, you can leave, and, you know, you can pass on if that's what you want to do. And deep down, I think that we in some ways do get to kind of choose, you know, even if we're not like actually taking our own lives. But I feel like some of the like meditation masters like will say, maybe Bruce Lee, I can't remember who exactly it was, but something along the lines of like they believe that you get to kind of choose when you go. So, and we already know that like assisted suicide for people that have like really bad illnesses and like they're already like passing away, but they just don't want to go through the pain, it's, so we're starting to like understand this stuff more and more, and it just needs to be talked about. It's kind of like all the other stuff we don't want to talk about, like pedophilia, rape. This is stuff that like people will report me on Facebook for or whatever because they don't want to hear about it, and like they don't want to talk about it. It's like, it's not going to get better if we're just covering it up, pretending that it doesn't exist. And that's where like this fake like morality of like being positive culture has set in, because I don't know, I guess it's just always been around, but I'm learning more about how like people in like there's just groups of people that like mask the pain with positivity, and I can't do that anymore because I've done that for almost 28 years, but definitely 26 years. Okay, so you just reach a point where you can't do it anymore. You can't pretend how you're really feeling, and maybe that bothers people because they feel like they have to cover that up because they think that that's what strength is. There's strength comes in so many different forms that there's no words for that either. Like there's no way to describe like people's individual unique strength, because like you've helped me realize that my strength is like perseverance and just being like patient and like being like soft, and like almost like that, like the softness is my strength. And I didn't realize that until you said it was well, I really loved it because it did combine that dream, that first dream I had of you, the rose that grew through concrete, because I feel like that's so true with us, that that's what we experienced together, and we both learned what our strengths were, and I just think this is so cool because like my dreams that showed me that sunflowers are sacred to me, and this is the card that I pulled like initially when we started to like like understand like our relationship and stuff, and this was kind of like not like a cry out for help, because I don't see myself as that like kind of person. I would almost rather like deal with the pain myself and just die than have to ask people for help or like receive help from people. But that's the other thing I'm learning, is that it's okay to get help from people, and it's okay to receive love, and that is what I needed to learn. And so I learned it the hard way by not loving myself, but now I know that I deserve it. Like I really, really deserve it, and I'm very confident in knowing that. And so and one of my friends said something very sweet to me a while back. I said, I just feel like it takes me so long to understand things, and she said, yeah, but when you understand, when you get it, you really get it. And like that just made me feel like it really touches me now, because I understand what she was saying, and I think she's a little more spiritually connected than I am, but we all are like in our own ways, like you can't even compare, so yeah, I just like I know that we're always connected spiritually. I just feel like there is just something extra comforting about having the physical support the feelings that you're having, and that we're having. So, but this was more like I confidently know this about myself, because I've just struggled with it my whole life. And like it's a good and a bad thing, obviously, right? Because I'm a really amazing nurturer to a fault. And, now I can balance that out, and I can nourish and give that to myself, because when I'm taking care of myself, that is going to help other people more than helping them and ignoring my needs, which I did feel like I had to do because that's the culture that we put on certain genders. And so a lot of people feel that way. And, either gender, we all feel like that in some kind of way, like pretending that you don't need to cry, and pretending that you're not gonna get mad, and like basically pretending that you don't have a heart, which means you're not gonna have emotions. Somehow we have related to being strong. And so that's old world stuff for me. That's why spirit's really pushing me, or love is really pushing me into doing my sessions for people, because I'm starting to realize how much the workforce needs to change too, because not only is it harming the environment with all the pollution, it's harming people's souls and bodies, and that's just not okay with me, because it's not a loving frequency, it's destructive. And so of course people are feeling suicidal. They're eating junk food, they're working at jobs that don't care about their health, and they don't care about the environment. It's just pure greed. And that's the sad part, is that the greed does not, it doesn't give you what you want. Like you might think it does, but I learned through other people that would take and take and take from me, that that's just not the answer. And it's also not the answer for me to just be so overly giving, almost like I have to be whatever that person wants me to be loved. And that was the bottom line. Like that was really how I felt all my life, because that was for survival. So that's why I was diagnosed at uni with generalized anxiety disorder when I had one of my suicide attempts. So, and that was the reason for drinking. And that's why I just say, like, it's not fair of us to say, hey, just stop doing heroin. It's like, well, we got to fix the emotional problem, and then the heroin will kind of just go away by itself, because people aren't addicted to junk food and heroin, they're or alcohol. They're trying to find relief, and they don't know where to find it, and they don't feel like they can open up to people and like be themselves, so they have to numb the pain. I think it's just numbing pain to appear strong, so that people don't attack you more and don't pick at your wounds, So it's very brave to open up with that stuff. And, that's why if I'm going to say anything's like masculine or just like powerful or whatever, like that is, to me, that is courageous to open up and just be yourself. And I think at a core level, we all know this, like intuitively we understand this. And I do think that you're just extremely creative. And so I was told from a few, healers that you were a woman. And so I hope that you don't like take offense to that. If I, see some things in you that kind of like, it's almost like if we did an autopsy on you, because of like the creativity that comes out, it really does remind me of like what I might imagine a woman would do, like creatively. So like, maybe like your anatomy like on the inside is kind of more like that, but maybe that's how we like balance each other out, and we kind of like change the label of what I think, just naturally, like we change the label, and like we destroy the label of gender because of like our natural frequency, because you can show people that are like men that like how powerful women are, and just through being how powerful you are as a man, because I see you as both, because you are both. And I think that's where we've both kind of been figuring that out. But I just revert back to like when I was a kid, you know, I I thought I got to pick a gender, like most transgender people say their experience was. They thought they got to pick one, and that's where I think the natives call people with masculine and feminine two soul. And so I think that transgender are two souls. That just kind of makes sense to me. I know I am, I know you are, and I think that's why I thought, oh, I got to pick one. And then it's like for me the like I've said before, the girl stuff was just so unappealing to me. I I I was like, okay, I guess I'll just pick the guy one, but I really didn't want to pick either because I don't feel like either. So that's how I feel about that. But like it's okay if like those like expressions come out in the ways that we've understood them and like we've like created as a society. Like I don't know, I just like I'm kind of referring to like the dreams that I've shared with you. Like I when we went on a date, like you did kind of take on like a more of a, I guess, masculine energy, and I was a more feminine. It was almost like just you being there in person kind of brought that out in me. Because I do think I use like masculinity to like protect my heart, and like it's almost like I kind of feel like in a weird way it's like my masculine will kick in to protect my feminine if my feminine is feeling like threatened or something. But it's happened so much that that's kind of like all I've really shown you. And so but yeah, I don't know. I still don't want to put a gender on it. I just, I'm trying to interpret it the best way that I can. And I don't have all the answers. I just, I'm realizing more and more that everything really is revolved around love in just so many different unique ways. It really is, unconditional love is true love. And, but that's the only thing I would say that I really like know. So like I know there's a lot of questions that you have and I'm trying to answer them. I just think that it might be easier for you to know that, I don't, and I'm learning with you. And, yeah, and I feel like I need to emphasize, I get triggered, feeling like, maybe I'm being like told what to do and stuff. And so I'm sure you feel that way. I just feel like that was kind of worth mentioning just to be, very like open and honest about my feelings about that. So, and even just now, I feel like you understand that. I feel like there was something there that kind of made you go, mm-hmm. I don't know. I see you as like pretty quiet. I don't know, just like I know that you talk because I've had dreams where you're talking quite a bit, and I don't want to keep you from talking. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just don't feel like you need to say anything because I actually find that very endearing. That's kind of your unique way of like your unique frequency, and you can always change. I'm not saying that that's like who you are indefinitely. I just find that endearing. I guess because it's opposite than me. I don't really know. There's just things about you that I learned through my dreams that I'm just kind of like, that's really beautiful, and I'm in love with your soul, and I think you know that. It's not your physical stuff, but I really do feel like even when we're finding people that we're attracted to physically, it is guiding us to the spiritual attraction. So I think that even just stuff that I find attractive about people is what led me to you, although I don't exactly know, because the dreams I have, it's like it never shows your face. And the one that it did show was from like down below. Like I was like, because obviously you're taller than me, and like I was, play fighting with you because I'm gonna do that. It's gonna happen. Yeah. So it was like down below, so that's why I drew that like anime picture like that, because like that's how your nose looked from that angle. But then I saw a picture of myself from that angle and I was like, oh, my nose kind of looks like that too, like from that specific angle. So anyways, I'm still like unsure with the phone number thing, because like I said, it's kind of like if that's the right number, it's I don't know if it's the same feeling as when I knocked on your door, but I'm trying to like figure that out. Because it's not easy to answer, right? Like if you have like a serious mad crush on someone, like you're gonna be like not like intimidated, but it's just gonna be a very like sensitive, and like it's a lot of love that wants to come together, so it's a lot. It's a lot for both of us. But I just want you to know, like, I'm healing myself and I'm excited to heal you too, because I think that's why you've always been reaching out to me. Not that like you need my healing, but that it would be nice. And I'm just really good at healing and I would love to do that for you. Anytime you need it. So that's always open for you, and maybe that's what we could do for our first date or whatever. I don't know what plans you have, and I don't want to like interrupt anything that you're wanting to do. I just think like we can be physically together, and I realize that's our choice now. And as like I guess like shy that I probably will be around you, I'm really like willing to go for it and do it. And I don't want you to feel like I just want to like go to Hawaii and eat fancy food without you, because that's that it's like I all everything that we've gone through for like these past almost 2 years, it's been for us, so like, and I know that you're trying to understand that, because I know that you've really been hurt, so like you want to like really make sure how you feel about things too, like me. Uh and I don't know, I maybe we are a little different, because I feel kind of, I don't know, like I felt like Superwoman, knocking on your door, because I knew that was really like brave of me to do, because I didn't know like I didn't even know what to say. I didn't know who was behind the door. It just like it made me realize like maybe that's my personality, is I want to like dive in, and I maybe do take on some of the characteristics of like masculinity, or what like we've decided as a culture is supposed to mean that, which whatever. So this is getting really long, so I'm gonna end it, but yeah, so just let's just like talk nonsense. I just like that we're still talking and that we've gone through so much together. And I love you.